Welcome to Cheater Fallout. Let us get started with today's story. You don't own me. If I want to drink with my ex, I'll go, she said while grabbing her keys. I let her leave, called a locksmith, and packed her stuff while she was having drinks. When she got back at midnight, her bags were by the door, and her key didn't work. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. I'm a 34-year-old guy, work in software development, and I've always prided myself on being the steady type, reliable, committed, the kind of partner who shows up no matter what. For the past 3 years, that's exactly what I was for Emily. We met through mutual friends at a casual barbecue, hit it off over shared laughs about bad movies, and before long, she moved into my apartment in the city. It was my place originally. I bought it a few years back after saving up from freelance gigs, but I made room for her stuff, rearranged the furniture to fit her style, and basically turned it into our home. Looking back, I gave a lot in that relationship. Emily had been going through a rough patch when we started dating. She'd lost her job in marketing due to company downsizing, and her family was dealing with some heavy stuff. Her mom's health issues, a messy sibling divorce that pulled her in emotionally. I stepped up without hesitation, covered the rent and bills while she job hunted, listened to her vent for hours after tough days, even drove her to therapy appointments when she finally decided to go. There were nights I'd come home exhausted from debugging code all day, but I'd still cook dinner or run errands because she was too drained. I didn't mind. I loved her, and I believed in building something solid together. But over time, things shifted. Emily got back on her feet with a new job at a creative agency, and suddenly she started pulling away. Little things at first, snapping at me for hovering when I'd ask about her day or making offhand comments about how predictable our life had become. She'd scroll through social media and point out posts from her friends' exciting trips or nights out, implying I was holding her back because I preferred quiet evenings planning our future over spontaneous bar hops. And then there was Jake, her ex from college. She'd mention him casually, like, "Jake just posted about his new adventure trip. Sounds fun, right?" I'd brush it off, but it built up. One time, I saw a flirty text from him pop up on her phone while she was in the shower. "Miss our late-night chats? Let's grab drinks soon." When I brought it up gently, she accused me of being insecure and controlling. "It's just old friends catching up," she'd say, rolling her eyes. But I knew from stories she'd told early on that Jake had been toxic, cheated on her multiple times, left her heartbroken. Why reopen that door? I tried to talk it out, suggesting couples counseling or a weekend getaway to reconnect, but she'd dismiss it with a smirk. "Not everything needs fixing. You know, sometimes people just need space." Space. Apparently, men are going out more without me. Coming home late smelling like wine and excuses. I'd lie awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering where I'd gone wrong. Had I been too accommodating? Too loyal? The confusion gnawed at me, but I held on, thinking it was a phase. After all, I'd sacrificed promotions that required travel because she didn't want me away too much. I'd put her first, even when it meant sidelining my own growth. Looking back, that vulnerability, the quiet doubt creeping in, made the eventual betrayal hit even harder. It felt so undeserved, like I'd built a foundation only for her to stomp on it. It all came to a head one Friday evening, about 6 months ago. We planned a low-key night in pizza. A movie. Nothing fancy, but it was our routine, and I was looking forward to it after a brutal week at work. Emily had been distant all day, texting nonstop on her phone, but I didn't push. Around 7 p.m., as I was setting out plates, she walked into the kitchen dressed up. Nice jeans, makeup done, hair curled. "I'm heading out," she announced casually like it was no big deal. "Out? I thought we were staying in," I said, keeping my tone even, though my stomach twisted. She grabbed her keys from the hook by the door, not even looking at me fully. "Yeah. Change of plans." Jake texted, "He's in town for the weekend and wants to catch up over drinks. It's been ages. It'll be fun." I paused, fork in hand, feeling the air thicken. "Jake, your ex? The one who—" "Oh, come on," she interrupted, her voice sharpening with that smug edge she developed lately. "Don't start with the jealousy routine. You don't own me. If I want to drink with my ex, I'll go. We're just friends now. And honestly, you being all possessive about it is a turnoff." I set the fork down slowly, my mind racing but my face neutral. I'm not being possessive. It's just we've talked about this. Boundaries, right? If it was me meeting an ex without telling you. She laughed, a short, dismissive bark that stung more than any shout. Boundaries? Please. You're acting like I'm cheating or something. It's drinks, not a date. And frankly, Jake gets it. He doesn't smother me with all this commitment crap. You think you can control my social life just because we live together? Newsflash. I outgrew that controlling vibe years ago. If you're so insecure, maybe that's on you for being so safe. Boring even. Jake and I had real sparks back then. This is just harmless reminiscing. Her words landed like punches, twisted logic wrapping around entitlement. She justified it all. The secrecy, the disrespect by flipping it on me, making my loyalty sound like a flaw. Emily, this feels off. If roles were reversed, you'd be furious. Would I? She smirked, adjusting her bag on her shoulder. Maybe I'd trust you enough not to freak out. But go ahead. Sit here and stew. I'm not canceling because of your paranoia. See you later or whenever. She turned toward the door, keys jingling. I could feel the heat rising in my chest, the urge to argue, to beg her to stay and talk it out. But something clicked. All those months of mistreatment, the emotional abandonment disguised as needing space, the manipulations where she'd gaslight my concerns, it crystallized. I wasn't going to beg, not anymore. Okay, I said calmly, my voice steady despite the storm inside. Do what you want. She paused at the door, glancing back with a raised eyebrow like she expected more drama. That's it. No big fight. I shrugged lightly. No. Enjoy your night. A flicker of uncertainty crossed her face, but she masked it with another smirk. Fine, don't wait up. And with that, she walked out, the door clicking shut behind her. I stood there for a minute, the silence deafening. Then, methodically, I pulled out my phone and searched for a 24-hour locksmith. While she was out catching up with Jake, I packed her things, clothes, toiletries, the knickknacks she'd scattered around, not angrily, just efficiently, folding everything neatly into her suitcases. By 9 p.m., the locksmith arrived, changed the locks in under an hour. I paid him, thanked him, and placed her bags just outside the door in the hallway, covered with a tarp in case of rain. No note, no drama, just attachment. Around midnight, I heard the key scraping the lock once, twice, then frustrated, jiggling. A knock followed, sharp and insistent. What the hell? Open up. I didn't respond right away. Through the peephole, I saw her fumbling with her phone, probably texting me. My phone buzzed. This isn't funny. Let me in now. I opened the door just a crack. Chain still on. Your stuff's out here. We're done. Her face twisted, surprise turning to outrage. Are you serious? Over drinks? You're kicking me out like this? That's insane. I can't believe you'd be so petty and controlling. It's not petty, I said evenly. No emotion in my voice. You made your choice. Respect goes both ways, and tonight showed me it doesn't here. She banged on the doorframe. You can't do this. Half this place is mine. We've been together 3 years. It's my apartment, Emily. Your name's not on the lease. Take your things and go. She cursed under her breath, grabbing a bag. Fine, screw you. I don't need this drama. Jake's place is way better anyway. She stormed off down the hall, bags in tow, hailing a cab outside. I closed the door, locked it, and for the first time in months, felt a strange calm. No outburst, no tears, just quiet resolve. But as I sat on the couch, the unfairness settled in. All I'd given, discarded so smugly. It hurt, but I let it breathe, knowing this was the start of something better. The days after that night blurred into a haze of quiet adjustment. I didn't blow up her phone or stalk her socials. Instead, I blocked her temporarily, just enough to create space, and threw myself into routine. Work became my anchor. I'd always been good at my job, but now I poured extra energy into it, taking on side projects that I'd sidelined for Emily's sake. Remember those promotions I'd passed up? One came around again, a senior developer role with better pay and remote flexibility. I applied, nailed the interview, and got it. Suddenly, my days were filled with coding marathons, virtual meetings, and the satisfaction of building something for myself. But the emotional weight didn't vanish overnight. I'd wake up in the empty apartment, staring at the spot where her favorite mug used to sit, and the confusion would hit. Why had she turned so dismissive? Flashbacks played on loop. The time I stayed up all night helping her prep for a job interview, only for her to snap at me the next day for not giving her space, or when her mom's surgery went south, and I drove 3 hours to be there, holding her hand while she cried. Yet later, she'd compare me unfavorably to Jake's adventurous spirit in casual conversations. It felt like emotional whiplash, like I'd been a backup plan all along, loyal and steady. While she tested the waters elsewhere, I let myself sit with it. The unfairness, the silence. Friends checked in. Some mutual ones sided with her at first, texting things like, "Dude, locking her out? That's harsh over drinks." I'd respond briefly, "It was more than that," and leave it. No bad-mouthing, no details. I journaled instead, scribbling thoughts late at night. Was I too nice? Did that make me a target? The vulnerability lingered, a quiet ache. But I didn't rush healing. I hit the gym, started hiking on weekends. Things I'd neglected because Emily preferred staying in or going out with her crowd. Slowly, the confusion cleared into clarity. Her manipulations, the disrespect, they weren't my fault. I'd been committed and she'd exploited it. About 2 weeks in, hints of karma started trickling through the grapevine. A buddy from our shared circle, Mark, grabbed coffee with me and spilled. Emily had crashed at Jake's after that night, posting vague stories online about new beginnings and freedom from toxicity. Smug as ever, implying I'd been the problem, but cracks showed fast. Jake, it turned out, hadn't changed. Still the unstable type with a history of bouncing between relationships. Mark heard from another friend that things escalated quickly. Jake got jealous over her texting coworkers, started arguments that left her in tears. She'd confided to mutuals about his mood swings, but downplayed his passion. I didn't engage, just nodded and changed the subject. Let the unfairness breathe. I'd think about how she'd mocked my stability, yet now chased that excitement into chaos. More rumors filtered in at her job. The agency gig drama brewed. Jake showed up unannounced one day, causing a scene that embarrassed her in front of colleagues. Whispers of unprofessionalism spread, and soon she was on thin ice. Financially, she struggled too. Without my support, bills piled up, and Jake wasn't the type to help. She'd borrowed from friends, promising quick payback, but it strained those ties. Through it all, I stayed detached. No gloating, no contact. My internal voice shifted from "what did I do wrong to this" was a dodge. I deserve respect. I redecorated the apartment, turning it into my space again. New bookshelves for my coding manuals, a home office setup for the promotion. Socially, I reconnected with old friends. Even went on a casual date or two. Nothing serious, but enough to remind me life moved forward. The silence from her side lasted a month, but I knew it wouldn't hold. When the attempts started, they came slow at first, probing, then desperate. But by then, I'd sat with the betrayal long enough to know I was done. The unraveling happened faster than I expected, but I didn't seek it out. I just let the pieces fall. About a month after the lockout, Mark filled me in over beers. Emily had fully moved in with Jake, but it was a disaster from the start. Jake's adventurous spirit turned out to be code for instability. He'd bounced between jobs, had a temper that flared over nothing, and apparently still kept in touch with multiple exes. Emily posted a couple of glowing updates online at first, all smiles and dimly lit bars. But the facade cracked when mutual friends started whispering. One night, Jake got possessive during a group outing, accusing her of flirting with a waiter and storming out, leaving her stranded. She called a cab, but the embarrassment lingered. Then came the job fallout. At her agency, the drama spilled over. Jake showed up during lunch one day, yelling about some text he'd seen on her phone right in the lobby. Colleagues gossiped. Her boss pulled her aside for a professionalism talk, and within weeks, she was let go. Performance issues, they cited. But everyone knew it was the distractions. Without income, she leaned on Jake, but he wasn't the supportive type. Rumors flew that he'd started seeing someone else on the side, using Emily as a temporary crash pad until he got bored. Friends who'd initially defended her, "She's just living her life," began distancing themselves when she asked for loans or places to stay. Isolation set in. Her social circle shrank as the truth about Jake's abusiveness emerged. Verbal put-downs, controlling her phone, even a story about him smashing a glass during an argument. Karma didn't need my help. It hit her hard, turning her smug freedom into a lonely mess. Her first attempt at reconciliation came via text about 6 weeks post-breakup. My phone buzzed while I was at the gym. "Hey, it's me! Can we talk?" I miss what we had. Jake was a huge mistake. I see that now. Locking me out was extreme, but I get why you were hurt. Let's meet for coffee. I read it. Felt a twinge of the old confusion, but pushed it aside. No response. A day later, a voicemail. "Come on, don't ignore me. I'm sorry for how I handled things. You were always so good to me, and I took it for granted. Jake's not who I thought. He's been awful. Can you call back?" Still silence from me. That's when the desperation ramped up. She enlisted her toxic crew. Her sister, who I'd never gotten along with, texted me, "You're being a jerk. Emily's going through hell because of you. Grow up and talk to her. She needs support." I blocked the number without replying. A mutual friend pressured by Emily called, "Dude, she's crashing on couches now." Jake kicked her out after a fight. At least hear her out. She's family to us. But the real escalation was when she showed up at my office building one afternoon, waiting in the lobby like it was no big deal. I spotted her through the glass doors as I headed out for lunch. Disheveled hair, puffy eyes. Clutching her bag tightly, she rushed over when she saw me. "Please, just 5 minutes," she pleaded. Her voice cracking but laced with that old manipulation. I screwed up big time. Going out with Jake that night was stupid. I was just frustrated, feeling trapped. "But you overreacted by packing my stuff like that. We could have talked it out. Now everything's fallen apart. He's abusive, controlling everything I do. I lost my job because of the stress, and I have nowhere stable to go. Remember how you used to help me through tough times? I need that now. We were good together. Let's try again." I stopped, keeping distance, my tone flat and composed. "Emily, that door closed when you walked out it. I'm not interested in revisiting." Her face flushed, shifting from plea to anger. "So that's it. You're just going to act all high and mighty now after everything. You won't even sympathize. This is petty. You think you're better off without me? Fine, enjoy your boring life, but don't come crawling back when you realize what you lost." She stormed off, but the hypocrisy hung in the air. She'd accused me of control, yet here she was demanding I fix her mess. A few days later, angry texts followed. "You're heartless. Jake was right about you. Too safe, too spineless." I blocked her permanently. The escalation showing her true colors. Entitled "Unwilling to Own the Betrayal." Mutual friends stopped pushing after that. A couple even apologized, saying they'd seen the full picture now. Her downfall felt earned, realistic. Not some dramatic revenge, but the natural consequence of her choices. By then, 8 months had passed, and my life had leveled up in ways I hadn't anticipated. The promotion led to a hybrid setup, letting me travel for conferences, something Emily had always vetoed. I met new people, including Sarah, a fellow developer from a networking event. We hit it off over shared tech geekery. It was easy, respectful. No drama. Nothing official yet. But it reminded me what healthy felt like. The apartment fully mine again, with a home gym corner and weekend plans that didn't revolve around anyone else's moods. The final encounter happened at Mark's birthday party, a casual backyard gathering for our old circle. I debated skipping it, knowing Emily might show, but I wasn't hiding. I arrived composed, chatting with friends about my recent hike, feeling emotionally free. She was there, cornered by the grill, looking worn, thinner, forced smiles, nursing a solo drink. Our eyes met across the yard. She beelined over, weaving through the crowd. "Hey," she started, voice tentative, but desperate. "Didn't expect to see you here. You look good, successful. Listen, I've been thinking a lot. What happened with us? It was my fault. Jake was a nightmare. He isolated me, cheated, left me broke. I'm in therapy now, trying to fix myself. Seeing you thrive, it makes me realize what I threw away. Can we start over, even as friends? I miss your stability. Your kindness, please. I've changed." Her words dripped with hypocrisy, the same stability she'd mocked as boring. Friends nearby shifted awkwardly, the public setting amplifying her plea and my calm. I set my drink down, meeting her gaze evenly. Emily, I've built a life that doesn't include you anymore, I said firmly. No edge, just fact. That chapter ended when you chose disrespect over us. I'm focused on my growth now, new opportunities, real peace. You're irrelevant to my happiness. I've moved on completely. This is me protecting what I've earned. Take care of yourself. She blinked, face crumpling. You don't care at all. After 3 years, that's cold. Don't you see I'm suffering? I shook my head. Slightly. Your choices, your consequences. I'm not here to fix them. With that, I turned back to the group, rejoining the conversation seamlessly. She lingered a moment, then slipped away early. The reversal stark, her desperation on display amid laughter, while I thrived untouched. Sarah texted me later that night. We'd exchanged numbers weeks prior, and we laughed about a work meme, a simple reminder of better ahead. The contrast hit her hard. I later heard through Mark. She realized too late what better truly meant. Looking back, that betrayal was a brutal gift. It forced me to confront how much I dimmed myself for someone who saw loyalty as weakness. Now I'm clearer, stronger, promoted twice since. Exploring hobbies like photography on those hikes, even planning a solo trip abroad. Sarah and I were taking it slow, but it's built on mutual respect, the kind Emily never valued. Karma handled the rest. Last I heard indirectly, she's piecing things together alone. No more smug posts. I don't wish her ill, just indifference. If anything, I learned to guard my peace fiercely. Thank you for watching, until the very end, wishing you happiness, peace, and a wonderful day ahead.